Today we're going to talk about, I'm Jim Burr again, I forget to introduce myself sometimes. Today we're going to talk about the James Webb Telescope. It appears to have demolished the Big Bang of how life was supposed to get started. They don't know what caused the Big Bang, what happened, but they got this theory that life came from a Big Bang. Well, the James Webb Telescope, that's named after James Webb, who is the director of NASA in the 60s when we went to the moon. That's where they got the name for the James Webb Telescope. And it's a huge telescope, but it's been seeing stuff that's got people flustered. And one report, this has been all over the internet over and over and over again. The Big Bang is over. NASA accepts defeat. Neil deGrasse Tyson says this forces us back to the drawing board. We are befuddled by the data. Astrophysicists have said because the James Webb Telescope, we have to rewrite the textbooks. And this guy, Michio Kaku, I don't know if you know him, he was a long time ago, he did a movie called Back to the Future. He was in that movie. And he's quite a famous scientist on the tube all the time. And he says there's a panic in cosmology. Something is wrong. We may have to revise our theory of the universe, he says. Ancient galaxies breaking all the rules about the Big Bang. This could change everything we thought we knew about the universe. And it makes astronomers break out in a sweat. It causes astronomers to rack their brains how stars can form so fast. Astronomers are left reeling. We need to look for an alternative creation theory. Hey, I got an idea for them. How about in the beginning, God? I have an alternate theory. So Neil deGrasse said this forces us to scratch our heads. Michio again breaks into tears. They lied to us. Something is wrong. We may have to revise our theory of the universe. There is a panic in cosmology. So how did the universe get started? If it's not the Big Bang, how did it get started? Another headline, the Big Bang is officially over. So astrophysicists come up with 24 new theories of how we got here. And this is a cool intro. This is like all these astrophysicists, well, I got this idea. What about my idea? And so they say, well, maybe it's the Big Bang 2.0. Maybe it's the big bounce, the big rip, the big free, the big crunch, the big box, the bubble universe, the black hole universe, the cyclic universe, the eternal. These are physicists, PhD and astrophysicists coming up with these ideas. The loop quantity, gravity, the multiverse, the steady state, on and on and on. 24 ideas of how the universe got here. A big splat. How about in the beginning, God? Okay. The Big Bang being debunked would result in years of research being useless in a sense. Useless, all of our research. But more important, what's more important than that? What could be more important than all of our research being universe? This is so interesting, what they say. The religious community that has believed that a single God created the universe and accompanying stars would have much more better ground to stand on. Though the biggest concern is not that all these people have lost their careers on a dead-end street. The biggest concern is creationists, the religious community that have believed that a single God created the universe and accompanying stars would have much better ground to stand on. Astronomers are surprised to find planets too massive for a star. This was this last week. This came out. The discovery of a planet at least 13 times Earth's mass, orbiting very close to a red dwarf, has astronomers going back to the drawing board on planetary formation theory. The cosmic mystery stumps astronomers. How could such a huge planet orbit such a tiny star? So this was this week, last week. We got the newest thing. Oh, we got another problem. We're stumped. We can't, they're clueless. They are clueless on how the sun formed. They got this idea, gravity pulled hydrogen gas together. and it was condensing and spinning and condensing and spinning and going faster and faster till gravity pulled hydrogen gas together to the point where it reached 100 million degrees, and then we have the miracle of the sun. There's so many problems with that. The first problem is if gravity pulled it together and it was spinning, the sun should be spinning so fast like a blades on a propeller. You know, they take an ice skater, pulls in their arms and legs, they've clocked them like 250 revolutions a minute. Well, the sun should be just screaming around. It's not. You can't even see it move. I watch sunspots. I've been looking at the sun for the last 35 years. I see a sunspot. It's here today, next day, next day. It takes 14 days across, actually 28 days to come around again. It rotates once every 28 days. Our Earth is 28 times faster than the sun. If it happened through the nebula hypothesis of collapsing, the sun should be just screaming around. It's not. The next problem is the Boyle's law of gas. Gas wants to fill in this building. If I had a perfume bottle, pretty soon everybody would be smelling the perfume. You see that gas fills its container. Gas doesn't want to get pulled together. It's going to expand and fill its container. The next problem, there's so many problems with it. The angular problem, let's see, I'm trying to think of those other problems that just escaped my mind. So anyhow, they're stumped. The mystery stumps astronomers on how can a huge planet form like that. For now, the scientists have no explanation for how this planet and star paired up. And when they used computer simulations to examine their relationship, they found that such a planet would need 10 times the amount of space dust, the basic building block for planets that normally found near M-class stars. Scientists in the classroom programs, I did 2 programs and we had some fun with it on television. And it was science. The cry is, we want science in the classroom. We want science, something we can test, something we can falsify. We don't want creation. We don't want intelligent design. We want science. So class today, let's study black holes. Now let's start with dark matter. Dark matter. Kids, you're going to learn all about dark matter today. First, what we're going to do is we're going to go to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the most prestigious institutes, and we'll talk to Max Tagmart. Max Tagmart, what do you say about dark energy? Uh-oh. Max Tagmart says dark matter is a code word for our ignorance. It might be a reflection we got gravity wrong again. So we went for two TV shows on that. Let's study black holes. For black holes, we need magic, because Astronomy Magazine says people who study black holes are cosmic magicians. They need to coax a great deal of meaning out of precious little information. So we went 2 programs going over all this stuff we're going to learn. Having some fun. I don't want to offend anybody. I said when we started, I don't want to offend anybody. Let's have some fun today. You want science? Let's have fun. I'll give you one scripture you can get 100 doctoral degrees on. Isaiah 45:18 says, He created the earth to be inhabited. He did not create the earth in vain. There are 100 parameters about the earth that show it's finely tuned. You could get a PhD, a doctorate degree in every one of those 100 areas of fine tuning, how finely tuned this system is. So that was... You can probably find that online. If you go to Jim Burr Heavens Declare, you probably find some of those programs there. If the Big Bang is debunked, it would cause scientists to rethink their entire careers. If it is debunked, it might cause existential crisis for astronomers, cosmologists, and regular people. You can read about it there. If Charles Darwin were alive today, he would have to admit his theory of evolution has been debunked. Charles Darwin would say, yes, they lied to us. That was a lie. Because here's what Charles Darwin said. If it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. Well, there it is, a mousetrap. You see, the mousetrap is called irreducible complexity. You need every piece of the mousetrap to work. Well, this one has a double spring. You could take one spring off, but you see, you can't evolve a mousetrap piece by piece, little by little by little. You need every working part, and the same is true with your ATP we've talked about, a little cell, a little alternator in your DNA that provides the power. There are so many parts of this. You can't have one part at a time. You can never evolve an alternator putting together 40 different parts over time, as Darwin says. If it could be demonstrated, any complex organ, that DNA, that little ATP motor is complex. It could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications. My theory would absolutely break down. So Darwin just admitted that it was a lie. Look at how these guys spend $1 million trying to think how life could get started on Earth. Well, look at all the contraptions they've built there. That winds up that program on DNA. I want to conclude with the thought, the Bible talks about treasure in the field. This guy's working in the field. He's a hired hand. He's working in this field, and he discovers a pot of gold. They used to bury where it's safe. Today they say, well, put it under your mattress, put your money under your mattress. But in those days, they buried it in a field. You see, if you put your treasure in a field, covered it up, and to keep it safe. But if you had a war or if you died or something, you see, nobody would know where it was, and that's why there's a chance that somebody could come along, dig in the field, and find that pot of gold. And so Jesus used that parable. And it's interesting because heaven is worth giving up everything on this earth. So in this story, the man who discovers the pot of gold, he covers it back up. He says, we're going to sell everything. He goes home, he says to his wife, kids, trust me. He couldn't tell anybody. He didn't want anybody getting out of where the gold is at. He just, trust me. We're going to sell the house. We're going to move into a Motel 2, okay? Kids, sell the skateboards, the iPads, We have got to sell everything. Just trust me. Because he's going to give up everything he can possibly give up because heaven is worth it. Well, there's more to the story because Ellen White tells us that you were the treasure. Jesus left. You were the treasure. Jesus left. All the universe, traveling, he who traveled from star to star, from world to world, superintending all, supplying the need of every order of being. He left all that to come down here. So great was the Father's love that he permitted him to come down and die for our sins. And that's the story of the treasure in the field. Because you were the treasure, Jesus gave it all up for you. Thank you for watching.